Okay, everybody, welcome back, or continuing on if you're still watching, which is nobody. But anyway, so what I wanted to do here is just, I forget what I was deriving, but I was either reading in my book or just deriving in my derivation notebook. But because this is my lesson plan, I'm a teacher and I put together my lesson plan. I just did it right after my derivation. But I'm trying to be an actual teacher, like put together a lesson plan and stuff. but what like the appropriate, regardless, as I was deriving and I was at a place where I'm sure you've done, it's like, do I use the word height or do I use the word height? Right, height with it ends in a T, or height that ends with a TH. And so what kind of logic can we bring to the table to differentiate those two words? Right, because again we're reverting back to the concept of dimension, generally dimensionality, right? Very clearly that solidified, we've talked about extensively, integrated and amalgamated word. You can't break down the word dimension anymore. Right? If you just put a line and chop off the DI, which is clearly indicative of two, but that, remember, two is stabilized. So there it is, stabilized in an integrated word, and mention, as spelled mension, is not a complete word. And so dimension is a complete word, and you see that fundamental stability of two integrated into the word itself. But how do we describe dimensionality? It's stabilized by the base of two, and we live in three dimensions, which is true. So again, we're just proving that. And so what kind of insight can we draw? Right? Well, if we go left or right, we can go up or down, and we can go forward or backward. What are other words that we can use to do that? Right? We have width. Left to right would be width. Forward and backward would be depth. And up or down would be height. And then if you type it into Google AI right now, we just got our senior engineer's contracts for $100 million. Let's see how good it is. And it'll say the correct form of the word is height. But remember, ordinal words, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Well, first of all, again, first, second, third, clearly have different forms than fourth, fifth, sixth, so on. They don't end in TH. So there's your three elements right there. But again, what numeric statements can we say about that? But now just drop the H. Just chop off that H. What do you have? You have the word eight and the word eighth. And so very clearly, numerically and mathematically, those mean different things. 8 is a whole number, a natural number, an integer, and an eighth is a fraction, it's a rational number, whatever the most general number field is that you guys have acknowledged. But we've kind of done away with those. It's empirically evident numbers don't exist physically at all. So this is like drop-down menu, all some bullshit with numbers. But logically, very clearly, 8 represents something more than 1, and eighth represents a fraction. And so you have a whole number versus a fraction. And so when they say height isn't the right word, well, eighth is clearly a word, and 8 is also a word, but for that completeness, width, height, and depth are your three dimensions, dichotomistically combined from two words into one: forward, backwards, depth; up or down, height; left or right, width. And so, I don't know why Google says that, but now we kind of have, but what establishes correct spelling in general for any word is really an open question. But you can just, once we have that concept of a whole number versus a fraction, because remember, we're deriving everything from first principle. So there's no prime numbers, there's no integers, there's no rationals, there's just what physical evidence implies what about representing physical systems with numbers. So we're doing all of this from the ground up. And so the most basic differentiation is you have something that is whole or something that is a fraction of something. So you have whole numbers and fractions. You have base words that are complete, and you have prefix and suffix that are fractions of words. And so prefixes and suffixes can now be viewed logically and completely as fractions of words. Like you take a word, you chop it, you smush it next to another word, and it's a prefix or a suffix, or it's a complete word. And so a lot of this proofing is literally showing, right, if you have a prefix of RE, right, those two letters are the same letters, but the R and the E come from different root words. And so that's the level where it's just like nobody else can differentiate that because there's just no way. I mean, it just happens. And so we have two types of numbers, or two types of numeric representations of physical systems: whole things or fractions of whole things. And so now look logically at the word whole. The base is the word whole. So whole is the absence of something, right? We have presence and absence. Again, these dichotomistic pairs, I do thousands of these a day. I don't pick random ones. and so whole, meaning a whole number, it means it's complete. But if you have a hole in something, it's very literally not complete. What gets bigger the more you take out of it? A whole number, right? I don't even know if that logically makes sense. But the analogy is, there's a saying, what gets bigger the more you take out of it? A whole. And so that is logically true. A whole number, the more you take out of it, the bigger it gets. No, it's just, I don't know. But the point is it's literally built on like a paradox or a false paradox or something. Because whole is the absence of something, and whole means complete. And so, again, you just look at these words, and it's just like, what was I saying my entire life? The words just like melt away, and just all weird as shit. But so we have two, but two is a whole number. So again, we're trying to figure out what's going on here with this. And so we'll just use an example. Again, I don't like to do the numerics, and this will be a homework assignment, but I'll set up the problem, you guys can solve it if you haven't solved it already. Right, so everybody's done the thing where, again, numerics should be base 2, because we have that physical, profound, proven physically that there's base 2 to something. We're in 3 dimensions, 2, the dimensionality of 2, universally and locally relatively stabilized. And so that's our base. That's a good, huge physical reason to have 2 as the base. And then you go, okay, what's 2 to nothing? Logically, again, taking a base number to an exponent of 0, what are you really saying? I'm timesing 2 0 times, so I get 1. I don't really like that, but that's effectively what you're doing notationally, again, because you're just putting 2 times. I don't like. It's again, that's what an exponent represents as multiplication, and so I don't like 2 to the 0 is 1. But 2 to the 1, because 0 is not a number, right? It wasn't until like the Arabs or something in 500 AD that they even invented the concept of 0. And so 0 is not a number, it's a complete set of nothing, and then you don't use that anymore. And so I can go into more on why exponents to the 0 makes no sense, or why the concept of 0 makes no sense, but I already have. But let's just say you have 2 to the first power. We're starting there because that's the right place to start. You don't start at 0, you start at 1. And then you go 2 to the 2 is 4th, so you go just 2 to the 2, 2 to the 3, 4, 5 going on. And I calculated them out up to the 13th. So you have 2nd, 4th, 8th, 16th, 32nd, 64th, 128th, 256th, 500th, 512th, 1024th, 2048th, 4096th, 8192nd. And so what part of this is iterating? Is it like specifically to the 6th, 12th, 4th, 8th, 6th, 2nd, 4th, 8th, 16th, 2nd, 4th. So again, obviously 30, 60, 70, those types of numbers don't matter, but just when it ends in 2nd or 4th. Clearly 1st, 2nd, and 3rd have a different ending for ordinal numbers than cardinal numbers, or the other ordinal numbers themselves. So what's going on there? Again, element 3. But this is the outline. There's some iteration. It's 2 getting iterated 3 times, or 3 iterating 2. Again, 2 to the 3rd power is 8. And then again, that's like the repeating. 7 is like the repeating syllability, and then 8 is literally the infinity sign rotated 90 degrees. And there's something going on there too. So what is going on there? But certainly there is, again, profound physical intuition to say base 2. Any exponent to the 0 power is a complete proof that is really trivial, but 0 can't represent anything. And that's a closed, complete proof. That's completely done. There's nothing else to say about it. But something's going on here. Again, ordinal numbers represent order. Cardinal numbers represent magnitude. So cardinal numbers are scalars. So can we have some sort of completing statement that all scalars have to be, what was I saying? Scalars have to be, again, just magnitude, harmonics. They have to be whole numbers. They can't be fractions. And so again, I had deep intuition in my first go about of this proofing of you don't need fractions whatsoever. And so again, what would that be? I would have to do more work. Or again, I've already done all of these things. I've literally already done this derivation. It's just with another word to modify one letter. The quantity versus order modified infinitesimally by syllability. Right, 4 is a cardinal number, and then your ordinal number is 4th. You came in 4th place. You have a quantity or magnitude of 4. Place is ordinal. That is, place is ordered and quantity is not. Quantity is a scalar. I don't want to add any sort of explanation because I'm just this section I have completely highlighted and I'm just going to read it through. It's not long. But scalar, how do you generalize that? Scalarity, I would guess you would say. Scalarity and vectorality. So anything that's a magnitude is just a scalar in general. So you connect magnitude to scalar, 1-to-1. Vector, again, has that dimensional component. Which direction are you going? So if you change direction, you're also accelerating, as opposed to just the magnitude of your speed. And so sensorality is vectorality. Again, remember, language is a vector. Life uses language. Sensorality, life is a vector, meaning it has more than one dimensional component. It matters on your magnitude and your direction. That sounds way too goofy. Quantity is magnitude, magnitude and direction. Sensorality directs. Remember, orientation, not just because you're a faggot, but which way are you looking? Please, hopefully I don't get banned on YouTube. That was a joke. Feeling directs, feeling orients, orientation is alignment. And again, alignment is so intimately, again, that's you're looking in the mirror. How are you aligned? Why is it when you think you pick up your left arm, it looks like your right arm in the mirror? We still have to say chirality somehow usefully. I feel like I'm in Breaking Bad in the first episode. Chirality. It's like literally how the series opens up. But feeling is resonant. We literally proven that when you literally agree with somebody, you're resonant. You're in agreement. That resonates with me. So we literally that was proven. That's a physical proof. And so feeling is resonance. And we're connecting that again. Sensorality is feeling, the ability to sensate, animacy, feeling. And if that resonates with somebody, rhythm synchronizes vibration. You're a metronome on a free moving piece of wood on cylinders that can move. You're in a synchronize. Rhythm synchronizes motion. You have your individual frequency, and then you align with other people around you. You're an electron, and you're on one field line. But we're just connecting all of these ideas. And so I just have a derivation note, getting close to sorality, but based sonality. So you can see within the word resonance that S-O-N. Remember, there's some sort of intuitive identity with R and N, and you can literally just bridge the R over longer to create the letter N. But we've gone for sorality, which is the base of sensorality, to sonality or sonarality. Right, sonar is the word, sonarality. And so again, we just have to get from that L or sensor from that R to the N. And so I have to do all of these, the geometric linguistics intuitively, and then try to explain it. But we're getting closer. I think I just want to end there. But again, what is going on with ordinal and cardinal numbers? And again, we're back to the logic of like my second episode of this From Rhythm to Algorithm series, which was like 6-7 years ago. So I've definitely earned my place in my right to be a mathematician, and I continue to say that because it's disgusting what this community has done to me. You look at history, anytime somebody really thinks and something really changes and proves it. This is a proof. This is proven. And then you send a proof to Harvard, and they're like, well, think about it. Like, what the fuck are you going to think about? Then you get approached from the CIA and Interpol and MI6 and Mossad and all the other fucking intelligence agencies. And you can like, can someone just give me some money? You guys can keep playing your bullshit game, and I'm going to keep stuffing your thoughts into your brain. And when you say, oh, I think he's holding back, I unified physics trivially. Of course I'm holding back. I've been tortured my entire life, and anytime I've ever expressed myself, it has gotten worse. I need a way to express myself. It's torture. I'm literally being tortured. But nobody gives a shit. So thanks for watching, or not, and I'll see you on the next one.